hurt so bad. I finally did it. I published my first game on Google Play. It is called Sneaky Chick, if you have not heard of it. Let me move this a little closer to me. What are you doing? Cat, you gotta move. I don't want to crush you with the mic. So, Google Play, Sneaky Chick. If you have Android 12 or above, you can download it. Please, it'll help me out. But, besides that, it's published, and I've been working on it for the past year. And I am just glad it's over with. And so naturally, cat hair, sorry. Naturally, I want to start with my other ideas. And so that is what this video is going to be about. This video is for me to look back and to remember where I started with this and to look at how bad it looks now compared to hopefully what it's going to look like in the future. And what I'm talking about is this serving / waiter game that, oh, it's raining outside. Crap, I should unplug my car. Hold on, give me 1 second. Okay, alright. Now that I am certified wet, what was I talking about? Crap. A server waiter game. Sorry, I had to like literally sprint out there. Now my arms are drenched. Basically what I wanted to do, if this is, I shouldn't really say if you guys. Okay, it's very public to my Discord members that I am a waiter. I do that. I'm currently in college, so it's the best job that I can have right now. But anyways, been doing that for 2 years now. And it's a lot of stress. And so what I want to do is I want to capture that stress into a game. And what I've done is I've made a Milanote. I made a Milanote. So I've slowly organized my thought process for this game. And no, it's not going to be like those other games like Overcooked. I think that's what it's called. Let me look. Overcooked. Yeah, it's not like Overcooked, where it's super cartoony, all that. This is going to be a very almost dark game. And it's going to capture 4 main things. Basically, the stuff you have to keep track of. It's going to be your reputation with your coworkers. You have to manage that, and there's going to be multiple ways that you can manage it. It's going to be money management. That's a pretty obvious one. You can use that to buy upgrades, necessities like food, bills. Got to do those. Car payments, stuff like that. And then there's going to be stress management. That comes with doing stuff wrong, constantly working, not hanging out with friends, stuff like that. And then there's going to be sanity. And sanity and stress are going to be different. They sound pretty similar, but sanity is more of like a mental health kind of thing. So sanity is going to come with like hanging out with friends. I don't know why I brought that up to stress. It's going to be a sanity thing. Hanging out with friends is going to help it. Hanging out with your coworkers is going to help it. Stuff around those lines. Sanity is not terrible if it goes all the way down. The main game losing thing is your stress going all the way up. If you reach max stress, then you lose. That's the end of the game. That's at least my idea. But I'm just gonna go over some of these gameplay ideas that I had with you guys. Then we're gonna get into Unity and make a somewhat decent start of a prototype. It's not going to be anywhere near done like prototype wise, but it's a start just to get something out here. My idea is to have two different gameplay loops. Not gameplay loops, two different just parts of the game. It's going to be the waiter gameplay, which is like your average run around, take orders, run food. I want to have it so that in early rounds there are busboys, but then in later rounds, once you get fired and rehired, I'll go over that in a second, then you eventually go to restaurants that don't have any busboys. That's actually how my restaurant is right now that I work at. We don't have busboys, so we have to clean our own table. Which you'll see in the game is going to impact your time a lot, because time is a absolute crucial thing. So basics. In real life, shifts are about 6 to 7 hours, maybe 8 if you're unlucky. And the tables stay about an hour to an hour and a half. That's being generous. So what I'm thinking is, in the game, the shifts are going to be about 12 minutes. I was going to do 1 minute per hour, but then realized that would be way too short, and so I'm just going to do 12 minutes per hour. Which means, if I'm going off of my numbers, then tables are going to stay for about 2 minutes each. Half of the minute is going to be to order drinks and food, and then the other half is to eat and for them to ask for questions and stuff that they might need, like sauce, napkins. What do other people complain about? A lot. People complain about a lot, and I'm going to be writing down a lot of examples while I work. There's going to be multiple things that you have to keep track of in these shifts, right? Your section, first of all, every time you start a shift, your section is different. There's going to be a big restaurant. It's going to be a pretty decent layout, and your section's only going to be about like 3 to 4 tables at first. Maybe even smaller in the like beginner rounds. Then it'll go to 3, then 4, and when it gets to like intense is when we'll go to like 6. That if you're working at like a big restaurant, taking more than 6 is like deadly. Section, and then side work. You're actually going to have to keep track of your side work. You're going to be assigned that randomly at the start too. And this can be stuff like making sure like the beverage station is clean, making sure we have bread for the guests for when they first get there, making sure you still have tea, like brewing new pots of tea and stuff. All of those are going to be semi-equal in the amount of like work you have to put into it. And so if you don't complete your side work, then your reputation goes down. And reputation is going to be the main factor during work, while the other ones are going to be more of a main factor outside of work that work also affects. So if you lose a lot of reputation, then your coworkers aren't going to like you as much, which leads to more stress, and then overall just kind of degrading. And once you reach 0 reputation, you get fired from that job and you will go on to the next job. So random things that I thought of, you can walk around, you go to tables, all that, but you can also run. And if you run and you run into another server while you're running, you will crash into them and then lose a good bit of reputation because you messed them up too. Key factor. You're not going to be able to see tables you wouldn't be able to see in real life. Your vision is going to be dependent on the walls around you, so you can't see over walls and stuff. You have to actually go to the table and see if they need something. A lot, and I mean like a lot of restaurant games, you have full vision and like, oh, this table all the way over here needs help, but you wouldn't be able to see that table in real life. You'd have to walk around the corner, then see if they need help, or they'll like flag you down or something. So I want to incorporate this is going to be a hard game. And it's kind of going to be like a roguelike, because every time you get fired, it's like losing, and then you keep the upgrades you buy when you're at home to apply at your next job. Oh yeah, while you're working, you can have casual like conversations with your guests or with your coworkers and stuff like that, or like clean a coworker's table. All of that stuff is to boost reputation, but it uses time, and time is like really important, so you kind of have to balance that time to reputation kind of thing. When you're at home, you can choose to do a couple things. So this happens right after your shift. It'll cut to a completely different like side of the game. You can either go out with your coworkers right after work to like a bar. That will gain reputation and relieve stress, but it costs money, so you got to keep that in mind. You can hang out with friends. that relieves stress and sanity, but it loses money. And then you could find a new job. This doesn't mean you had to be fired. You can try to find a better job than what you have now. Depending on how good your reputation is, depends how good of like a job you can actually get. And then you can also go to the store and then buy upgrades such as like a better waiter book or something along those lines. There will be more thoughts about that as I go on. Maybe new shoes or something to help with movement. I'm not really sure where I'm going to go with that, but I'll think of something. And then obviously that uses money, but you don't lose stress or anything. It's just money and you gain upgrades. So they're upgrades you can keep. It's not like the restaurant's going to take it from you. And then of course you also have to pay for all the necessities like your bills. And if you don't keep up with that, then you lose. And if your stress goes all the way down, you also lose. That's why a lot of these activities relieve stress and something else, because stress is like crucial to maintain. Still not really sure where I want to go with the art style with this. It's either going to be a pixel art top down or it's going to be a vector art 2.5D, where it's flat but like slightly angled up, but everyone's 2D, but they walk around a 3D space. I'm not really sure yet. And yeah, that's about my thoughts for this game. I hope it makes sense. I rambled on. I don't have a script right now. The only reason I'm looking over here is because that's where my Streamlabs is. And then I have my Milanote over here, and my camera is up here with the Milanote. So I've just been kind of making sure that I look nice while I talk to you guys. But let's jump into Unity and start mocking up some sort of prototype, at least for movement, to understand what I'm gonna do with like the tables and stuff. So let's go do that. So the first thing I did when I opened it up, I organized a hierarchy with my little way, and then I created a square. And I named the square player. Just basic start. I then created my first script, which is going to be my movement script. And in my movement script, I created a reference to my player object by simply finding its tag. And thankfully, since movement isn't terribly hard, especially in 2D, I whipped up a quick axis-based movement system. And it kind of makes the player look a little like slippery when he's walking around. I'm going to have to change that, but this is just bare bones start. I need something, so this works. And then I added sprinting by simply making the speed multiplier variable higher while holding shift. Not bad. I then added more squares and turned them into rectangles for the tables. I added a different color and a box collider on all of them, and then created a table manager script for the table management. I also created a separate table class to hold the information about each table. I'll need that later. And in the table manager, I added a loop to add all of the available tables to a list. So originally I wanted to do a distance checker to highlight nearby tables, but then decided to scratch that idea and just go with trigger checking. So I added a circle collider to the player. I wanted to mess around with Unity events, so I created an event manager and subscribed the trigger collision check to the event. Now it knows when it's in range of a table. I then spent way too long trying to figure out why I couldn't subscribe a method with parameters to an event, but then decided to just add the material change to the trigger itself. Now tables highlight when I'm near them. And that was all I was able to get done today. It's not a terrible amount, but it's simple movement. All you need is some squares to get started. Besides that, that is all I've got for you guys this time. I hope you enjoyed this devlog. This is my first ever devlog, so that's pretty crazy. If you don't know about my other channel, it's Egg. You should go subscribe to it. The link will be in the description. It's also on this current channel under the channels tab. You'll see it there. But yeah, you guys have a great rest of your day. Smoochies, and good night.